I'm in mourning because this series is over. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maddie and today I'm going to be reviewing Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. This is the finale in the Throne of Glass series and we have waited for so long for this book to come out. It's been 2 years. It's finally here. This was my most anticipated release of the year and I'm so glad that it's finally here. Now, I actually listened to this one on audiobook because unfortunately there was an error with my payment method on Amazon and so my copy isn't coming until tomorrow. So I just got this book on Audible and I listened to it on 1.5, 1.75 speed and I have finished it and all I can say is wow. Wow. Now I am going to be reviewing this book for you guys, but I'm just going to go ahead and say this is mostly just going to be me emotionally gushing about this book and about this series because it's one of my favorites. And if you've watched any of my videos, you know how much this series means to me. So, yeah. First off, I'm just going to give you some of my general thoughts before I get into spoilers, and I will let you know when spoilers are coming, so you don't have to worry about that until I tell you. So, for starters, I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. It was such an epic and just a wonderful finale, just a wonderful conclusion to this series that I love it so much, and I can't tell you how much I love these characters and their stories, and it's just all around amazing. I really liked the way everything was wrapped up, and there's not much more that I would have wanted from the story. There's not much more that I would have wanted from the ending. So I feel satisfied. However, I can't believe that this is over. Like, this series is finished. There's not, as far as we know, there's not going to be any more books about these characters. And it honestly just breaks my heart knowing that it's over. When my copy comes in the mail tomorrow, I will be reading it again. If you have not read this series, you need to go read it, please. If you won't do it for yourself, do it for me. It's epic and it's just like this huge fantasy world that is honestly mind-blowing. I really think that this author and her books are really going to go down in history, and this is going to be one of those series that shapes the reading world and that shapes this reading generation. If you have not read this series, go read it, come back, and we can discuss this together. I am about to go into my spoilery thoughts, so if you have not read this whole entire series, if you have not finished reading all of the books, you need to leave. You do not want to spoil yourself for this book. Please leave. Leave. Okay, so if you are still here, that means that you have read this series, you have read this finale, you have read Kingdom of Ash, and now we are going to discuss it together. I'm just going to get right into it. First off, I want to talk about Aylin's rescue. Okay, so this book did not go how I thought it would go, pretty much at all. And I honestly didn't think that Aylin was going to be rescued until at least halfway through this book. And that's like one of the first things that happens. Like, I was honestly expecting it to be a whole lot harder for them to rescue her. I thought they'd be searching the whole world for Aylin. And I thought it would take them forever to find her. But it turns out she was in Dornell this whole time. I was really honestly let down by that fact because I feel like it should have been a lot harder for them to find her. Like, it was this huge plot twist at the end of Empire of Storms, and then it's just quickly resolved in the beginning like it's no big deal. As much as I loved it and as happy as I was for those characters, like, it was a letdown just a little bit because it just happened so easily. Okay, so who knew that Dorian was this freaking powerful? Like, we knew that he had unparalleled magic, but He is literally one of the most powerful people in any of Sarah J. Maas's book. When I found out that he could shapeshift, I was like, just floored. I feel like he shouldn't have that much power. Like, I feel like there's no way that one person can literally do anything. Not only can he shapeshift, but every time that he shapeshifts into something or someone or a creature or whatever, he can take on their magical attributes. Like, not only does he take on their physical attributes, but he can take on their magic as well. When he went up against Maeve, all he had to do was study her brain, and he beat her because he knew how her mind worked. He knew how her powers worked. And so he just basically used the same powers that she uses, and he used it against her. Like, that's how powerful he is. And I feel like this should have been used more in the story. Like, it was just that one thing, and then all of a sudden it's just like, okay. I'm thinking to myself, Dorian can literally save everyone. Why is this not happening? Why do we have to go through all this trouble with all the battles and everything else when Dorian can literally defeat Maeve and Erlen? He can defeat them all. Why did this not happen? I don't understand. Okay, so Irene is pregnant. Who saw that one coming? I don't know, maybe you did, but I didn't. The tension between their little family, because they're all linked together, and if one of them dies, then the whole family dies, like, got real stressful. I knew Sarah wasn't going to kill any of them off. If you watch my theories video, you know my whole theory on this whole book about if anyone dies, they're coming back to life. I knew that they weren't going to die, but still, it was like, there was that tension going throughout the whole thing. Like, they can't get hurt, or else they're all just gonna go, and we don't want them to go. We don't want Irene or Kale or their baby to die. Okay, now down to the nitty gritty. Okay, so Aelin and Dorian in their sacrifice. I did not suspect this at all. Again, if you watch my theories video, you know this, but I thought Dorian was going to sacrifice himself, that way Aelin wouldn't have to. I was so sure that Dorian was gonna die, and I didn't even think about them being able to make the sacrifice together. That way neither one of them has to die, and it's just like half of their magic is depleted. But then of course Aelin is like, no, I don't want that to happen to you, and then Dorian's dad takes his place, which, how did this even happen? Like, honestly, the King of Adarlan is dead. I don't understand why he came back, honestly. Like, I don't feel like that was a really good writing move. But, I mean, who cares? I don't. It wasn't wholly believable, but I didn't really care. And then, once Aelin, like, secures the lock and everything, she kills the gods. Like, I was like, you go, girl. You go. And then when she's traveling through all those worlds, she goes through this world and she sees these fae. She sees this fae male and this fae woman, and she's pregnant. And you know that this is Rhysand and Farah. If you've read the A Court of Thorns and Roses series, you know that this is Rhysand and Farah. And when she said that she was pregnant, I was like, oh! I knew it! After reading A Court of Frost and Starlight, I knew that she was going to be pregnant. I didn't think we'd actually get to see it because that series is over. But then we got like just a little snippet of them, and I was so happy about it. Okay, moving on to the next thing. So Darrow makes Evangeline his heir, and I didn't see that coming either. He used to be like this awful, terrible person, and then his character is redeemed. It kind of wasn't that believable for me. It kind of just happened overnight, it seemed. He went from being this terrible person to this really nice, soft-hearted, caring man, and I was like, what made the change? I didn't really understand that, because nothing had really happened to make him change. He just changed. And it was just like all of a sudden one day he was a nice person, and he's making Evangeline his heir, which I thought was really sweet, but it just wasn't that believable to me. Backing up because I forgot, I totally skipped this note. The 13. The 13. This was the most shocked I was throughout this whole book, is when the 13 sacrificed themselves. Like, I literally just sat there with my hand on my chest. Like, I just sat there for probably like 5 minutes, completely numbed. I thought that Astrid would sacrifice herself. I thought that Astrid would do the yielding and then she would save the people in battle and she would die. I didn't think that the whole entire 13 would die. And it just broke me. And I was like, okay, so Manon's grandmother's dying. Like, Astrid should be the one to kill her, so I'm glad that that's happening. But the whole 13, why did Sarah do this? Like, I understand, but I just felt so bad for Manon. Okay, now skipping back forward again. Gabriel dies. And out of all, like, the cadre, I figured he would be the one to die, him or Fenris. But it was just still really sad, even though I kind of expected him to die. When Adian was just like watching him sacrifice himself so that they could close the gate and save everyone, like, oh man. Okay, and then there's this one thing where Erewhon is being killed by Irene and Dorian Dorian's like, what's my father's name? I'm not gonna tell you. What's my father's name? I'm not gonna tell you. And it was just like them back and forth. And I was like, this is dumb. Why is this in here? I don't care. Why does Dorian care what his father's name is that bad? Like, you're risking Erewhon's death. You're risking the fate of your world just to find out what your dad's name was. Like, I didn't understand that. And it was their back and forth was really childish to me. You're just two toddlers going back and forth. That scene was honestly kind of ridiculous to me, but then obviously Irene kills Erewhon. I didn't really expect her to kill him, but I thought it was cool that, like, she has the power to give life and death, and so she could kill him. Who would have thought the girl working at the tavern that we met in the Assassin's Blade would be the one to save them all? Like, I would have never guessed that reading Assassin's Blade. So I thought it was really cool that her character developed that far to where she's the one saving the world. And then Maeve dies, and I was so happy. I was like, yeah, the moment we've all been waiting for. She's dead. Thank the Lord. And I was really glad that Aelin was the one to do it. She was so salty when she did it. She basically was like, oh, you want me to give you a hand? Psych! And then after everything and the big battle's over, Lorcan and Elide get engaged, and then Lorcan offers to give away his immortal lifespan so that he could be with Elide. And then Irene decides that she wants to build a tower of her own and start a school to teach healers. Rowan promises Aelin to build her a new library and a new theater. And it really took me back to the first Throne of Glass books. Those things are so important to her. And it's things that she didn't get to enjoy anymore since coming out as Aelin. She's getting back a piece of herself that war stole from her. And I just thought that was so beautiful. And then Aelin has her coronation and everyone's there. And then Adian gives the blood oath. And everything just wrapped up so nicely, so beautifully. I will say though, this book was so unnecessarily long. I believe Goodreads says that it's 992 pages, which like blew my mind. And the audiobook for this is over 33 hours long. I'm glad that we got that length to wrap up the story, to wrap up this series and give all of our characters the ending that they deserve. And there is such a huge cast of characters that it took a long time to end each character's story, but at the same time, this book was so long, and from a critical standpoint, it shouldn't have been. There were 2 times in this book that I thought this was the end of the story, and it wasn't. There you have it. Those are my spoilery thoughts for Kingdom of Ash. Sorry, this video was basically just me being emotional and gushing about everything that happened in this book. But I hope you enjoyed listening to me review Kingdom of Ash. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more bookish content by me. Let me know your thoughts, your likes, your dislikes of this book. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!